A lot of prop firms are a scam. Now, this is unfortunate to say, but 2024 has taught us one thing, and it is that a lot of firms are unsustainable. A lot of firms are not reliable, whether that's from a shutting down completely to denying payouts to not answering their traders, you name it. 2024 has taught us that there is an issue in this firm when it comes to reliability, when it comes to finding firms that you can trust. Now, unfortunately, 2024 has also taught us that this is a cycle. We see firms come into the market, usually backed by an influencer that has a large audience. A firm will enter the market with really generous rules, fantastic prices. They'll gain market share, and then they'll realize, oh, this isn't sustainable. We're not going to be able to pay out our traders. We need to make a change. Let's throw in a whole bunch of hidden rules or rules that aren't even hidden, but are unfavorable to the trader. And then all of a sudden, traders don't sign up with them and the firm struggles or goes out of business, or traders don't get their payouts. It is a cycle that is repeating itself over and over again, and it needs to end. However, the good news is if you just followed a few simple frameworks throughout this entire year, you could have avoided 90+% of all of the issues that we have seen throughout this year. And so in today's video, I'm going to talk about exactly what those are, how you can avoid and how you can swim through the treacherous industry of prop firms to join a firm that is reliable, to receive your payout without issue. Because at the end of the day, trading is hard enough. We don't need to worry as traders about whether or not our payout is going to be honored. I want clear rules. I want to follow those rules. And if I pass and I do well, I want to receive my payout. It is very, very simple. And so let's talk about what we need to avoid and then what we need to go towards to ensure that this happens. Okay, first off, the caveat is you do not need to join Lark Funding. I have said that since we launched on June 1st, 2022, over 800 days ago, that competition makes everyone better. So again, this is not an ad for Lark Funding. Now that that's out of the way, there is an ad for PipMunch, the #1 daily trading newsletter for traders, completely free. It is trusted by over 27,000 traders. They receive it every single morning. So please join that down below. Would really appreciate it. Okay. So first things first, how can we avoid the issue? How can we avoid the concerns and stress from going out of business or getting denied your payout? Whatever your issue is, how can we remove ourselves from this stressful and unknown territory to the territory of calmness, of reliability, of sustainability, of knowing that everything is going to be good on that day, that beloved day of requesting a payout? Well, first off, we need to avoid hidden rules. That one is really, really obvious, okay? Hidden rules, again, it's kind of hard to avoid because if they're hidden, how do you know they're there? So that's kind of a weird thing. But obviously, you want rules to be very, very clear. If there's any rule that is not clear with the firm, you should gain some insight. You should ask them, what's going on? I want some clarification here. I am a huge, huge proponent and advocate for clear rules. If you have a rule that traders don't like, okay, just say it, right? Nobody is going to win if you throw the rule on them after they have taken the challenge, after they have signed up. The firm's not going to win, they're going to have an angry customer, and the customer is not going to win. So obviously avoid firms with hidden rules. Next up, you want to avoid firms or be wary of firms that have massive discounts. We are talking about 50% plus discounts. Now, if you have a 50% off discount for first-time clients, that's different. But if every single month you are running a 50% promotion, it's probably a red flag. We have seen this time and time again, firms that are offering 50%, 60%, 70% plus on all purchases. It's a red flag. It's fantastic on face value for a trader. Like, oh my gosh, I'm getting a $100,000 challenge for $100. Yeah, it's all great until it comes time to requesting your payout. No firm can offer a great service or a reliable service if they're massively discounting their product. So again, just be careful of that. Next up, we have unsustainable rules. Now, how do you know if a rule is unsustainable? There's really an easy way of determining this. It is if a challenge is way easier than any other challenge in the industry, it is a red flag. There are firms that have been out for 5, 6, 7, 8 years that have certain rules. They have been around for 5+ years because their rules are sustainable. It's sustainable for them, it's sustainable for the trader, it works. Now, there is no reason for an 18-year-old influencer to come onto the scene and completely slash the industry standard, thinking that they are some mathematician and they have figured out some secret formula. It's not going to work, okay? There's a reason that the industry pillars have been around for as long as they have. And so if you see a firm come out and their challenge is way easier than everybody else, I'm not talking about 1% easier, we're talking about 10% easier. If it's way easier, that is a red flag. It means that it's not going to be sustainable. They're doing it to gain market share, but in the long term, it's not going to be pretty for the trader or the firm for that matter. Number 4, this brings us up to influencer-backed firms. Now, when I launched Lark Funding June 1st, 2022, I never considered myself an influencer. I had a small YouTube following of, at the time, 5,000, 8,000 subscribers. I do not consider myself a YouTuber, so that's kind of the caveat there. For those of you saying, well, I've been following you for a while, you are an influencer. There are influencers that have hundreds of thousands or millions of followers that are launching firms, that have launched firms. And we have seen again in 2024 how those turn out to be. Now, it's fantastic for a firm to get all of that exposure, to get those signups, to get those clicks. But at the end of the day, after a trader has purchased, there is a legitimate business that needs to be run. And oftentimes, influencers are fantastic at influencing, but not always great at running a prop firm or running a business. So whether influencer backed or not, I think you should not sign up for a firm if they haven't been around for at least 6 months. Okay, when we launched 2022, it was a completely different landscape than it is today. So just something to keep in mind. There's so many reliable firms out there that have been around for years. Why not go for them? Keep the new ones in the back of your mind. If they're interesting, keep an eye on them. But come on, $500, any amount of dollars. You work hard for your money, don't throw it away. Save it, spend it on something of quality that is going to be reliable. Purchase a good service, not just a clickbaity thing. Those are my 2 cents. Number 5, I think we're at number 5, insane bots online. This is kind of a new thing that we're seeing on Twitter where some firms have these insane bots. So you can't really say anything bad about the firm or these bots come and attack you. I'm not going to say much on that, but that's just something that I've noticed recently. So maybe something to just keep an eye on. This brings us up to the next point though, which is much more important, and that is social media drama. The reality is only about 10%, even less, 10% or so of traders make it in this business, make money long term. What do those traders do? Those traders are professional. They treat trading like a career, like a job. They take it seriously. Trading, for those that are actually going to make it, is a professional business. So why not also join a firm that is professional? If there's social media drama online, I think it's ridiculous when we see CEOs or whoever dealing with this drama online. I think it's insane. That's how I feel. I personally, as a trader, as a consumer, I want to join a firm, whether it's a prop firm or any kind of business that is professional and I know is going to be reliable. And if there's all kinds of social media drama, I don't think that can be done. And lastly, we have gimmick marketing. You can determine for yourself what is a gimmick, what is not a gimmick. But we have seen again in 2024 that firms with gimmick marketing hasn't gone so well. Okay, so now that we have determined what we need to avoid, and again, all these are super simple. I really truly believe that if you just follow your gut on these things and don't fall victim to really cheap or easy challenges, you will avoid 90% plus of all of these issues. It's really not rocket science to determine if a firm is reliable or not. How long have they been around? What is the vibe towards them? Are they within industry pricing and standards for their challenges? I really don't think it is that difficult if we have enough discipline to not go for the shiny object syndrome of cheap challenges. Okay, so now that we know what we need to avoid, what do we look for? Well, I kind of already touched upon that. It's important to remember that amongst all of the fear that we have seen this year throughout the industry, there is always tremendous opportunity within this fear. So while traders understandably and rightfully so have a fear that their payout is not going to be honored, there is still a tremendous opportunity. There is no opportunity in the world of trading that is better than prop firms right now. And so while there's all kinds of craziness going on, I really think it's important to keep that perspective and to really remind ourselves that trading personal capital is way more difficult than prop firms unless you have a huge amount of money. And then of course you can, trade personal capital. Again, I want to reiterate that in terms of things that we're looking for, there are still tons of reliable firms out there. This is not an ad for Lark Funding. I encourage all of you, I stress upon all of you to look for a firm that is reliable, that has been around for over a year, that is professional. And I think that if you just spend a little bit more money on a firm that has these things, it's going to pay you back tenfold in peace of mind and also reliability. And again, perhaps this is the most important part of the entire video. Please subscribe to pitmunch.com. It is down below. It is the #1 newsletter for traders, trusted by over 27,000 traders. We send out prop firm news, market analysis, what's going on, all kinds of good stuff, the daily trading newsletter. And of course, as I said, it is 100% free. I'd love to hear from you guys what you think about the industry. Did I miss something? Did I overlook something? As always, I'd love to hear from you down below. If you made it this far, I appreciate it. I will see you in the next one. And until then, peace.